and welcome back. And if this is your first time here, welcome in. So what I'm going to do here is use this Dixie Darlings adhesive double-sided kind of tape. It's really one of the better ones that I've used. Trust me, I had used a different one before this, and then I wrapped it all around the tumbler, and I had to rip it all off because, anyways, I genuinely really do love this stuff. I also love the fact that right here you can cut it in half, and you can have two 20-ounce tumbler, wraps. So, and you can have even just a little bit left over for something else if you wanted to do. So, anyways, that's what I like about the size. She really thought that through when she designed this. So, anyways, love Kelly. So, this design right here, I'm actually going to be having a video released on how I did this. And this design here was a design that I made that I found off of Creative Fabrica, and then I put it all together, and I printed it on printable vinyl. So I'm just doing the hinge method here and putting the double-sided tape on the one side of the printable vinyl, which is also sticky as well. So I'm sticking it onto the printable vinyl, and like I said, I actually did all of this in AI, Adobe Illustrator, and designed this myself because there was something that I really wanted and I really couldn't find it, so I just kind of went searching and designed it myself. So anyways, I'm cutting off the excess, the white strips on the sides of each one so that I can get a pretty good covering on this, a pretty good accurate, I guess, wrap around this 20-ounce stainless steel tumbler. And as you can see there, that is where I think I did this like 3 times. Anyways, the best one that I found was the Dixie Darlings double-sided tape. So this tumbler has been through the ringer a few times. So, but I finally found something that worked, and I was glad that I was filming it so I could bring it to you guys and show it to you. So, anyways, this is me making sure that we've got the edges exact, because this is a template that I'm cutting out from Kimberly Taylor Hobbs. She has a website where she does all these different templates where you can do like double-sided tape, you can do glitter, foil, whatever you want. And so one of the things that Dixie Darlings Kelly Beard was talking or teaching us on her live one time. If you don't follow her on Facebook, you need to do that. But she was saying to put the double-sided tape on top of a piece of vinyl. So I just took it one step further and took the double-sided tape template, cut it out on my Cricut using washi tape setting, and then I put it on top of a printable vinyl that I designed myself. So this is just the next level that you can take it, right? You can kind of design your own thing and, make it all your own design, just with everything as far as the template goes. Now, I did measure this, the circumference, the width, and the height of the tumbler, but it's still, it's like, I don't think it's inevitable for, it just not to work, not to be exactly the same size. But anyways, I was able to fix it pretty well because I was able to cut off that last little bit and slice it up. And I was gonna, we're gonna put pinstripes on there, so we're gonna be able to. But see, it came out pretty even as far as getting all accurate for where it lines up. Ugh, if I can find the words. So this green foil, this like holographic green foil, it just screamed Christmas to me. I just had to go with a Christmas design. And I've been dying to use some of these templates from Kimberly Taylor Hobbs. And I like it just all kind of came together for me that this was what we, needed to do here. So I took this, obviously you can tell that I had done this before and it did not turn out the way that I wanted. So I am using the strips and the pieces that that were left over from the first time that I did it so that I could redo this tumbler. But I really love these templates really allow for you to have like a really sophisticated design, and you don't really have to do a whole lot of work. It seems like a lot of work, but it is fairly easy to do. Like you see here, I was taking off every other one because I was going to be doing something different on, inside of those, the one on the inside. So I was just making sure that I was getting it accurate from the one side to the other side. Also, like I said, I was using this kind of the bits and pieces of this that was left over because I didn't want to waste any of it. So with it being a full sheet that you would get inside of your artistic painting studio monthly thing, it's actually very nice because there's a full sheet, and and you would just be able to wrap this whole thing in there. But since I messed up and the double-sided tape wasn't working the way I thought it was and all of those things, that's why I'm here to tell you this is the way to do it, right? Use your Dixie Darlings double-sided tape, and this foil will be perfect for it. I love this green. It is just so Christmassy green that I just love it. But anyways, so I just took little bits and pieces and just kind of filled in wherever those holes were. But so I was able to still use that piece that I used, but and that way I didn't have to waste a whole bunch more of it. But it would have been much more ideal if I would have just had a full sheet of green foil to do with. And that's another reason why I love the double-sided tape, is that it makes it so much easier to do this foil stuff. You do not have to worry about glue and drying and all of those things. It's just the double-sided tape is boom, and then whatever's exposed is going to get the foil, and then that's it, This was, there was a gold foil in the pack as well, in the monthly pack. And I really wanted to use the gold foil, but what happens is that the foil has a tendency to stay a little bit sticky depending on what type of foil it is. And so I just ended up deciding that I think a gold glitter would be better, because that way some of the ornaments that you will see in the design, they actually have gold glitter on them. So I figured if a little bit of gold glitter got stuck onto this gold foil pieces, it would kind of mimic the same thing of those ornaments in the design of the vinyl. So that's kind of why I did it. But you could definitely use that gold foil, but you would get a little bit more of a distressed look with that gold kind of going on top of the green, or vice versa, depending on which one you did first. So this one I am using Cherish from Peachy Olive Glitters. This is one of my absolute favorite golds, because especially for like a Christmas gold, or if you really want that gold look, this to me just has that real brassy, just Christmassy, very gold look to it. This is one of my favorite golds. If you don't want that kind of gold, but I really felt like it matched the colors in the vinyl and the design that I had made before, so that's kind of why I picked that particular glitter. And I wanted to have something that was like foil glitter. I kind of wanted to use different elements as well. So as you can see there, I was burnishing, is called whenever you like push the glitter into that double-sided tape. Is that you really need to do that to make sure that the the glitter gets really stuck into that double-sided tape. And this was some of the other foils that were in that pack. Now this one here Excuse me. So anyways, so if you put that double-sided tape, the vinyl is going to be, when you pull off that double-sided tape, it's still going to have a piece of that double-sided tape, right? So you've got to cover that with something. So I used this holographic iridescent. I don't really remember exactly what it had, but it has. It is like. It has a sparkle to it, and it has there were like little dots, and I thought they really reflected on the ornaments, made it look like they were kind of shining. And so I really loved the way that that just kind of added a little bit extra, and it only added it to the vinyl part because that's the part that we exposed after we exposed all the other parts. So you can see it here, how it's just sparkling and just makes it really sparkly. And you'll see in the end, whenever I do the video, it really looks really cool. But that's just the one thing about putting that double-sided template on top of vinyl, is that even the vinyl that you want exposed, it's still going to have that sticky, so you've got to cover it with something. So that's what I love about these clear foils. And this was something that Kelly also showed in her group. I'm telling you, if you're not in there, you got to go and join her group and watch the master at work. So anyways, that's how I learned this trick from. But it really does add just such a flair. And then it's so convenient that these foils, you get them every month, you get a different set, and maybe it's a set, just the same thing as like the Peachy palettes, is that you just never know what you're going to get, but could be something that you just never thought you would ever use. It could be a color that you never thought you'd ever use, but it's there, and now you have it, and it really can open up your creativity. So that's why I love when you have those monthly packs, because it just kind of allows you to have some things that you maybe not would have ever got. Anyways, I put a coat of epoxy on this. I didn't seal it or anything because I knew that there was going to be glitter in that green, and it didn't really matter. And I kind of did a little bit of the vinyl part first and then did the other part just to kind of maybe make sure, but that was it. I didn't really seal it or anything. I had to put a few coats of epoxy on there because the back side was a little bit lifted, and I had to do a little bit of work on that. But other than that, after I got enough coats on there where I felt comfortable enough to put our pinstripes on there, I found this like brick kind of red maroon color in just my drawer of red stuff. And I was like, oh, this would be perfect, because it really did match that burgundy red piece. So I was showing you here that I'm taking these long pieces off to the side, and I was cutting the smaller pieces, and I was leaving them on the side of the table so that I could use them for the smaller pieces or the smaller areas. So I really was utilizing every bit of those long pieces. I think I cut these at like 0.08 by 11.5. I made them as long as possible because I knew I was going to be wrapping them around the tumbler, and then I knew that I was going to have to use like multiple ones to do all these different ones. So this is kind of why I made them as long as I did. And then I just set them, like I said, I just put them on the side of the table there and just pulled them up whenever I needed that next, smaller piece. And then I just used a smaller piece to a smaller piece to a smaller piece, and that worked out really well. And I love the lattice look of this, the weaving look of this. Make sure that when you are doing the pinstripes that you are following the appropriate, if you're doing it the other way, if you want the other lines to go on top and this to go on the underneath, that's fine. Just make sure you're consistent with that as you're doing the pinstripes. Just make sure you're not bringing one side under and the other side over, and that kind of thing. So just I think it will give you a better flow that way. So anyways, just something to think about. See here, I put it to where this one was on top, right? So those other smaller ones on the side were going underneath this line, and then yeah. So anyways, it's just but you could have done it where that one was going underneath, right? Anyways, I really like the design. It's very cool. It kind of leaves you for, you could have done all kinds of different colors on this or whatever. So that's I really love these templates, because they just really allow for you to have a very sophisticated look, and everything's kind of laid out for you, and you don't have to do too much thinking other than, what's going to match with what, and, what kind of elements do I want to use. So I just sped this up pretty quick because, it's just very, very redundant at this point. Doing a stripe, getting this one covered, getting that one covered. But, just take your time and be meticulous if you really want it to look right and appropriate. So that's just one of the things that even looking at it now, I'm like, did I do it right? I was like I'm thinking, yeah, I think I did it right. But, that was the only thing about putting the pinstripes on. I guess you wouldn't have to do the pinstripes if you didn't want to, but if you're going to do them, make sure that they're going in the right direction and whatnot. But anyways, I put pinstripes all over everything, and everything was covered, and that was it. So that's all you need to see about that, I'm pretty sure. And just finishing up the last bit of these pinstripes, I was keeping all those little pieces, and some of them were a little bit too small, so I was using them for the smaller piece. So anyways, that's why it was vital because I used a lot of those pinstripes. If you can see on that top there, I actually used quite a bit of them. So I would say do probably about 10 of them or more, and then make sure you keep all those little extra pieces so you can finish it in and get it exactly the way you want it. So there it is. It looks so pretty. I love it. So after all that fondling, of course, I'm going to go in with some Mod Podge and cover that up and seal all of those in. As you can see here, it looks really, really cool with those, the pinstripes. I think, I still think you could get away with not doing them, but I did put one down the middle because we did have a little bit of a problem with the seam on the back. But you know what? Whatever. I don't care anymore. That's what, if you need to put one on the back, then you put one on the back. Anyways, I'd put another coat of epoxy once that dried. It dries about 30 minutes or so, that Mod Podge, and then you can go into your coat of epoxy. I did leave the bottom. I was going to leave it blank, but then when I was putting so many coats of epoxy on there, it got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do something with this bottom here. So I ended up doing some sanding on the bottom just to kind of sand some of that epoxy, get it kind of flattened out a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with some paint and some glitter to kind of just clean up that bottom, make it look pretty sophisticated. It's as sophisticated as the rest of the tumbler. I feel like it really needed it after I got going on with the design. And I had used my cami page cutter to cut that top part, that top rim, just to make sure that it was straight. But I also am sanding that top rim just to make sure that we're exposing a little bit of that stainless steel. So I'm using electrical tape to cover up that the top part, so I'm just doing the bottom part of the tumbler. So I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the acrylic, or I just don't know what I'm doing anymore. But anyways, I painted this, and then it just never really dried. And so when I went to go and put the next coat of acrylic paint on there, it did that. So I just, whatever, I was like, this glitter from the glitter from Peachy Olive is so, it covers so well anyway. So I was just like, whatever, we're not even going to worry about this. So I mixed up some acrylic and glitter glue, and I put that on there, and I was just like, this is what's gonna happen. But you really, honestly, in the end, you can't see because it's so it covers so well. And look at that cherish; it's so beautiful. I just love, 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 love this color gold. So, anyways, covered it in that. I pulled off that electrical tape and I let that dry without the electrical tape, because you don't want to let that dry with the electrical tape, because then you will have that electrical tape will be stuck to the glitter and the tumbler, and you don't want that. And I probably let that dry about an hour or so. With that little bit of Crystalac glitter glue, I think you can definitely let it dry, pretty quickly. I also went ahead and put a stripe at the bottom there just to kind of clean everything up, because I had a little bit of issue with the glitter and it just, I was like, you know what, we're just, nothing a pinstripe can't fix, right? So I put a big pinstripe at the bottom just to kind of finish this off. And I put another coat of epoxy, put another coat, did some sanding and all of that, and then we were all done. And this is the tumbler. It's so cute. I'm so ready for Christmas. I know everybody's doing Halloween and the fall and all of that stuff, but Christmas has my heart, and I love Christmas. So I just thought that if you got this set of foils in this month's thing, that this is something that you can definitely do. I'm going to release a video on how I did the design. If you want the design, I can put it on my website and you can have access to it, so you don't have to design it yourself, or you can go in and do it yourself. But anyways, I really love all of the gold and that maroon kind of red color. I love it for Christmas. But anyways, please like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you think. Join my Facebook group, and I'll see you next time.